grow fly? Can we solve the fuel crisis? And making a better police car, how hard can it be? That's the noise. Hello. Thank you. Hello. Hello and no. No, this is not a repeat. We really are back. You're not watching Dave. Unless this is a repeat, in which case, let's remind ourselves what we did in the summer series of 2008. Bullet train.
He's had it. Come on then, big fella, see what you got.
Very sorry. Oh my God, the brakes.
But let's not get hung up on crashing.
I'm not talking, this matters. Whoa, whoa,
left.
This is looking good. Yes. There you go. So the usual orgy of speed and three middle-aged men falling over a lot.
And that actually gives us a bit of a problem, because we've had a letter from the BBC, and they said, what with petrol being £5.50 a gallon and all the rest of it, what we should actually be doing is giving some advice on fuel economy and saving money.
Yeah, unfortunately, that letter was opened by him.
Yes, and I decided the best thing we could do is gather together 5 supercars and have a race. These are the contenders. A Ferrari 599, a Lamborghini Murcielago, a Mercedes McLaren, an Aston Martin DBS, and the Audi R8. They will now race round our track, but to prove we're in tune with the times, each will start with just 1 gallon in its tank. There you go, the sound of the 20th century. God, I love this. 5.4 litre V8 versus this 6.5 litre V12. We're coming side by side into the first corner. There, blocks him out. Lamborghini's in the lead. Whoops, a daisy. Sight in my rearview mirror now. It's unbelievable. This was turning into one of the most exciting races ever on our track. And then it turned into one of the shortest. There's the Ferrari! It's gone, it's down, it's out! Amazingly, after just 1.7 miles, the Ferrari had spluttered to a halt. He's coming past, there's nothing I can do! That McLaren is so quick, you forget how quick it is. Shortly afterwards, the Aston was out too, turning it into a 3-horse race. Sorry, mate, I'm going to outbrake you here. I've got an Audi R8 right at my trumpet here. Then the McLaren took its last mighty swing. Hear that noise coming from behind my left ear? That is the sound of money exploding. My Lamborghini soldiered on bravely. Then it ran out. It had done 4.1 miles to the gallon, an incredible performance. But the winner, with an incredible 5 miles to the gallon, is the Audi R8. So here's a Top Gear top tip. If you've been affected by the fuel crisis, this is the supercar to buy.
Seriously, that Ferrari, did it really do 1.7 mpg?
Well, there might have been a bit of fuel left in its pipes, but you'd be amazed how thirsty those things are when you really thrash them. It's incredible.
1.7 miles means £3.23 a mile just in petrol.
Yes.
Yes, but the thing is, the BBC saw that film and they said we'd been stupid. And we had to do something more for the normal person. And, well, it was him again.
Yes, so the Toyota Prius. Now, to make this as economical as possible, they go to the ends of the earth, quite literally. I mean, the nickel, OK, that they use to make the batteries that power the electric motor, that comes from a mine in Canada. Now, nickel mining is a filthy business, a lot of sulphur and acid rain, but no matter. They load it on an enormous cargo ship, sent to Europe where it's refined, then on to China where it's turned into a sort of foam, then to Japan where it's put in the batteries and into the car. It's so complicated, in fact, to make a Prius that a recent study found that in the long term it does more environmental damage than a Land Rover Discovery. But, no, it's true, but it is at least economical. Or is it? This is a BMW M3. It is not designed to be as economical as possible. It is designed to be fast. So, 10 laps of the track. Let's see which one uses the least fuel. Here we go. The Prius would be driven as fast as possible. All I had to do in the BMW was keep up. OK, so there's a 1.5-litre four-cylinder engine in the Prius. In this, a 414 brake horsepower 4-litre V8. You would expect this to use massively more fuel. It was one of the dullest drives of my life, but in the interests of science, I stuck with it. Coming up now, 10 laps, and we're finished. Come on, I have the results here.
Yes.
The Prius did 17.2 miles to the gallon, the M3 did 19.4 miles to the gallon.
Hang on.
And that was verified.
Hang on.
Seriously.
19
Yeah.
to
The
17.
M3 is at that speed, an M3 is more economical than a Prius.
So what you're saying is, if you want an economical car, buy a BMW M3.
No, I'm not actually. No, seriously, what I'm saying is, it isn't what you drive that matters, it's how you drive it. That is everything. Because there's a load of people right now, I know this, who've got Mondeos, they go, oh, I can't afford the petrol in them anymore, I'm going to have to get rid. Don't, because everyone's in the same boat, you've got 20p for it, you'll end up with a horrid eco box. Much better, don't change the car, change your driving style.
Well, there you are. We will put our Top Gear, top fuel-saving tips on the website for you.
I think that's enough about fuel.
Yeah.
Moving on.
No.
What?
No, it isn't enough about fuel, because... Gather round, everyone. You know a Securicor van, OK?
Yes.
Driver's got helmet, truncheon, they've got bulletproof glass. What have they got in about? 50 quid? Box of stamps? A tanker? 40,000 litres of fuel. 50,000 quid. And all he's got to fend you off is a rolled-up porn mag.
Are you suggesting people go out and steal petrol tankers?
Not people, no.
We do.
Put it in here. Google Earth will never spot it. Honestly, because if you think about it, 50,000 litres
That's a lot.
of fuel, OK, that would be enough to get your Mustang home.
Well, to Guildford.
Yeah, to Guildford.
Maybe.
You could fill up there. No, I'll tell you, it's a brilliant idea.
Should we do some proper news?
Yes.
No.
What?
No, because, you know, every TV show in the world now has a campaign.
No.
They do. Jamie Oliver's going, don't eat chips, eat weeds, and it's Gordon Ramsay's one. You've got to kill your children's pets and eat them. So I've come up with a campaign we should do.
Oh, no.
Road signs.
They're too late, they've already been invented.
No,
Moving on.
No, get rid of them. Get rid of them. Have you seen that? Councils these days, oh, there's a space, we could put one in there. And it's just right rubbish. There's one on the M40, if anyone's seen it, it says, spray possible.
Well, it might be.
It was a June day when I went past it. It's spray impossible is what it should have said. They're going to list things that are possible. You could put being eaten by a cow. Impossible. And then, have you seen... In the olden days, OK, you used to be able to have a crash and it was a fairly foregone conclusion you weren't going to hit anything. Now, you're bound to hit a sign saying deer. How do you know there's a deer? How do they know where the deer is?
Why don't they just put the deer sign on the deer? And then it will always be...
That would work.
Why don't they do that?
There are stupid ones, you're right, like the falling rocks sign. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, speed up. Slow down.
195 miles an hour to avoid
If the
them.
rocks are falling, why don't they stop the rocks falling down if it's a continual problem?
That would be a better spend of money.
It is.
There's a very good sign near where I live, actually, that says, changed priorities ahead. And it's absolutely right, because I was driving down there the other day and I thought to myself, I'll work harder and pay my mortgage off and be secure in my old age. And I went past the sign and after another 10 or 20 yards I thought, no, I'm going to go to the pub.
So it works.
Yeah.
If you want to join our campaign to get rid of all road signs, or send us a picture of the most pointless one you've ever seen, write to us at Top Gear. Oh, Christ, we moved offices. Where are we now?
No idea.
We're upstairs.
We're above the One Show now.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we are, Top Gear, above the One Show, London.
That'll find us.
Now should we do some news?
We have some proper news now.
Yes, news from Korea. They've made, Hyundai's made a new coupe, and I've got the sneaking suspicion the designer sneezed when he got here.
Oh, yes.
I think he may have been allergic to the spaniel in his sandwich.
Maybe his lunch bit his ankle while he was drawing that bit.
No, seriously, if you go to Korea, don't order a cauliflower cheese, because
No.
it won't be what you think. Anyway, this is called the Genesis, all right? Which probably means that after a couple of years, the front will leave and Phil Collins will move in there instead.
No, actually, strictly speaking, Phil Collins will come round from the back to take place at the front.
Oh, leaving Chester Thompson at the back.
Yeah, exactly, and then occasionally Phil Collins will have to go back to the back with Chester Thompson.
Yes.
I don't know what you two are saying now.
No, it's got a V6 engine, 3.8 litres, and in between the bank, you've got a 25-minute keyboard solo.
You're using words, but it means nothing.
Would you rather it were called the Hyundai Westlife?
Yeah, all right, thank you.
The Hyundai Girls Aloud
Yes.
Hammond Edition.
All right, thank you. You know that company that's bought Jaguar, Tata?
Yeah.
While we were off, they made a big noise about introducing a £1,500 car. Well, they've done it. Here it is. It's called the Nano. Yeah. Well, they saved money on the styling because they've just based it on this. See, look. The eyes, little bit there, and then even these little ears there. It's exactly the same.
Is that a punker waller?
Pokemon.
I mean, I meant that.
Pokemon, yeah.
The thing that worries me about this, go back to, look, it's like one of those Doctor Who monsters that has no facial features. It's just trying to terrify children.
Well, it has no features at all on it, but this is the luxury version. That's the luxury one. Well, how much more basic could it be? What could you lose?
Well, I can tell, you know it isn't the base model, because if it was the base model, you wouldn't be able to see it because the mule would be in the way. Listen, while we were off the air, OK, I had a look on the internet, and this was on it.
Whoa, what's here?
Now,
I believe that.
something else that was on it was this.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
there.
That's,
Now,
yeah.
this guy, OK, he's come down here, crashed through that, and he's spun up there, and he is the luckiest man alive.
What's lucky about that?
Cut to the wide shot.
Whoa! That's the centre of the earth.
I know.
How long ago did that happen?
6 months?
Has he stopped screaming yet? One of those screams where you have to draw breath. Something bad's happening. More screaming.
They're still screaming out, me sitting at home going, what's on the other side? Ah!
6 months of screaming.
Hey, great news.
What?
The Dacia Sandero is almost here.
When?
Next year.
Great. Now, the Toyota Urban Cruiser. That is the stupidest name I've ever heard of, because, forgive me if I'm wrong, but isn't an urban cruiser someone who wears a Mac and isn't allowed within 200 yards of a primary school?
They may not have thought that through.
They haven't. I mean, that's not going to work as a school-run car if the police arrest it every time it goes near the gate. Right. Do you know what's wrong with Ferrari at the moment?
No, but I'm guessing you're going to tell us.
Yes, I am.
I know what it is, though. It's that they spend too much time making aftershave and carbon fibre crash helmets that match the dashboard of your car, even though you haven't actually got one.
Well, that's all true, but more than that, they're nerdy. It's all about the plumbing and the wiring and the computer systems. That's the trouble. When I drive a Ferrari, I want it to be all about passion and excitement. You might think this would fit the bill. But it's going to be a ton and a bit of Italian engineering for the soul. It's a tightened up, stripped and striped version of the normal 430. Sadly, though, it's called the Scuderia, which is Italian for team. That means it has a silly name. It also has a silly, grinning face. And wait till you see what they've done to the inside. Lamborghini and Porsche go to great lengths with their lightened supercars to conceal how and where all the weight has been saved. Ferrari were going to do that, but then they just decided that there's a really good restaurant opposite the factory, and they went there instead and just had some lunch. Look at it. There are no carpets, there's no satellite navigation, no stereo, no frills at all, and it appears to have been welded together by apes. You might imagine that because this is missing 100 kilograms of weight and equipment, it would be considerably less expensive than the standard car. But no, that is £172,000. It's £43,000 more. There's more bad news too. It's got an even more complicated computer system than the normal 430. Wires mean that it can change here in 60 milliseconds, and that, Ferrari say, is faster than you can blink. That was 75 milliseconds. Now, come on, quicker. Right, I'm ready for a race. Here we go. Can it change gear faster than I can blink? Are we ready? Ready? It can! In a addition to the computerized gearbox, it's got silicon brakes and an electronic differential. Then there's this switch. When it's here, the traction control is on. When it's here, it's on a bit less. When it's here, it's off, but the stability control is still on. Then if I put it here, beep beep to tell me everything's off. And now the suspension's been firmed up, but I can make it soft again by pushing that. And if I had a side parting and adenoids, I'd find all this very interesting. I'd come round to your house and tell you all about how it works. Even the shape of the body is computer designed with speed in mind. It has winglets at the front, and at the back there's an undertray which sucks you onto the road as you go along. So the faster you go, the more grip you have. One of the things that really annoys me in most cars is that there are no slats at the back to vent air out of the rear wheel arches, which of course increases pressure and slows you down, but in this, it has the slats. Oh yeah, definitely. All this speed is as a result of those... Actually, that is quite a lot of speed. Yeah, that was quite a lot. I wonder if it comes with bog roll. I'm doing this road test all wrong, because I'm mocking all this technology. And that's not really fair. It's not like Ferrari aftershave or that stupid carbon fibre crash helmet they'll sell you to match the trim of your car. That stuff's for idiots. I want the computers, but I don't want them to be the be-all and end-all of everything, like they are in the standard 430. I want them to be there, but hidden away, buried under a big, thick layer of something else. And in the Scuderia, they are. This is not only lighter than a standard car, but lower too. It has fatter tyres and more power. It feels like it was designed by Michael Schumacher. And that's because, in part, it was. Now I've got my foot buried into where the carpet used to be, and 510 brake horsepower is roaming around the engine bay. 0 to 60 is dealt with in 3.5 seconds. Flat out, it'll be nudging 200. Around the Ferrari test track, they claim this is actually quicker than an Enzo. That said, it is a tricky car to drive fast. A knife-edge racer. This is what a Ferrari should be like. You make mistake, I kill. Oh dear, no, that's not gone well. It feels like a street brawler. It's angry! Feels like it wants to goose your mother, vomit in one of your flower beds, down to the pub, deck truck, and kick someone's head in. And listen to the noise. When you have to flex your big toe. Having really unusual sex. Oh, there we are, he's finished. I cannot tell you how happy it makes me feel to be driving a proper Ferrari again. So much better than the normal one. I'll tell you what this car is. It is like the bastard love child of Stephen Hawking and Rambo. And now we must find out how fast it goes around our track, which means, of course, handing it over to our tame racing driver. Some say that after making love, he bites the head off his partner. And that he's had to give up binge drinking now that it's got to £1.18 a litre. All we know is he's called the Stig. He's off, and listen to the fury and mighty vengeance of that 4.3-litre V8 as he powers up to the first corner. Well, he's there already. Turns in, little four-wheel drift on the way in there. Gathering the throttle, and he's through. That was very neat. Ooh, of course, the Scuderia doesn't have a stereo, so no Stig audio nonsense. Just the sound of Italian mechanical rock and roll. Or bebop, as we call it. Just look how neat it is. It's staggering. 2 gallons of fuel gone already. And he's through the hammerhead. Compared to the normal 430, the Scuderia has new inlets, new exhausts, a whole extra computer just to control the spark plugs. Yet despite the extra power stick, doesn't even need to lift. Coming out to same to last corner, look how controlled it is through there, and again through Campbell, across the line. It's going to be up there. It's going to be up there. It did it in 1:19.7, so it actually goes there, which means that it may be faster than the Enzo around the Ferrari test track, but it's not faster around ours. There we are. Now, it's time to introduce a new member of the Top Gear team. He's called Top Gear Stuntman.
Yeah. Now, he's not the best in the business, to be brutally frank, so we thought we'd break him in with something nice and gentle. It's a crack at the world record for car jumping in reverse. The location for this attempt is not our track, because we didn't want to make a mess of it. So we've come here to Bentwaters in Suffolk. Here's the setup. Car comes tunning down there at extremely high speed, going backwards. It hits the ramp, and then it takes off from a point about 2 stories high, and then, travelling backwards, it goes 130 feet through the air until it lands backwards on the special landing ramp here. And then it's a simple matter of a quick phone call to Roy Castle, and the record's in the bag. Just in case we've miscalculated, we've also provided a safety net in the form of 72 scrap cars. And these form a sort of soft, downy cushion of rusty steel. And this is the chap who's going to set that record, Top Gear Stuntman. Over the years, he's taken quite a few knocks, and there isn't a movie director around who hasn't asked for him to be thrown off the set. Ronin, The Rock, The Bourne Identity. These are just a few of the films he hasn't worked on. And now the car, and we've been very clever here because we're going to use one of these. It's an Austin Allegro, a car that was famous for being more aerodynamic going backwards than it is going forwards. And in this respect, the Allegro is absolutely unique, apart from 1 or 2 other cars of a roughly similar shape. Now, the science behind this jump is, quite frankly, almost nil. Nevertheless, our man, ever the pro, makes a few final checks. The car is ready. Our man is ready. If you've just turned on, you may be thinking, oh no, he's facing the wrong direction. But he isn't. He is about to enter the history books. In reverse. He's off. Apologies for the length of the runner, but it's necessary for the Allegro to achieve its top backwards speed of 40 miles an hour. And Top Gear Stuntman would dearly love to achieve that right now. That was a little bit too short. But to be sure, let's see it again from several angles. Yep, definitely short.
Well done, Top Gear Stuntman. Yeah, he may have been short, but did he break the world record?
No, because it turns out there wasn't one.
What, for jumping in reverse?
Yeah.
Well, that's brilliant. It means that despite the dismal failure, Top Gear Stuntman, on his very first outing, has set a world record.
Yeah. Well, we hope we'll be setting a lot more over the coming years.
Yeah, or maybe he'll be killed. Either way, it's time now to move on and put some stars in our reasonably priced car. My guests tonight, well, one of them has very long hair and is from Bristol. The other one is from the Midlands and is gay. But surprisingly, it isn't James May and Richard Hammond. It is, in fact, Justin Lee Collins and Alan Carr. The man from what was the Friday Night Project to come on. How was it out there?
Terrifying.
Was it?
Yeah, it's really scary.
What, in a Lassetti?
Yeah, but you're going very fast in a Lassetti. That's
You're
the thing.
hitting 80 sometimes.
Some hairpin turns.
I kept doing that mirror signal manoeuvre, and then I realised there was no other cars.
I kept indicating, I'm serious.
I have to say, though, I think for you it went quite smoothly today.
Yes.
And for you, not so smoothly.
No.
We've actually got some clips of Justin attempting these practice runs. Anyone want to see these? Yeah. Let's just have a look at Justin's first attempt at getting around the track. Here we go, second to last corner, and... Oh, no! Whoa! That's a long way from the track. And here we go, Chicago. That's understeer, and that's...
This isn't good! I'm off-road! I'm off-road! I'm back on road! I just killed a rabbit!
Did you get the rabbit?
Yeah.
Did you get it?
I think I got a rabbit.
Good, we'll go and pick that up later. That's supper. Mmm, yum. And was the stage nice to you?
Very nice, yeah. It's Nigel Havers.
Now, forgive me for doing this so early on.
Yeah.
I've got to know, because what is a gay car?
Well, I don't know, because I'm not very clued up on cars. I don't know.
Are you the gay one?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, you're the gay one. So, right, so you then? What, do you know?
I don't know the makes of cars, so I'm not that good. I remember, I was telling you, weren't I? I mean, when I came down to London in my car, before I had my Mini, and I rang up for the congestion charge, and she said, you know, what make is your car? And I said, I don't know.
Oh, don't be so impertinent.
I know.
Did it not say in the middle of the steering wheel? It's when they ask what the registration...
I'm on the phone. I can't multitask. I'm gay.
Because I've been looking at your car history, and what have you had?
I had a lot of, what's it called? Because I do stand-up comedy, I couldn't afford a car, so I had to hire a car. And so, because I'm quite tight, I'd always get the smallest one. Is it a Cinquecento?
Nearly. Cinquecento.
Cinquecento.
Is Italian. Italian for 500. 500. Just say 500.
500.
500.
And they'd always be like yellow, bright yellow, so you've got the shame of like driving a Cinquecento and people going, oh look, it's Mr. Happy. So I had one of those, then I had a smart car.
I thought you were joking about the smart car.
No, I did. I was driving along and this bin liner flies out. I nearly drive inside a bin liner in a smart car. I'm trying to find me lights.
In a smart car? What?
They are awful. They're awful cars.
And it's kind to the environment, small cars. Is that something that bothers you?
No, well, listen, I mean, that's the good thing about having a Cinquecento, because you can't carpool, because you can't fit anyone in.
That is a very good point.
And, I mean, would you pick up anyone? Have you seen the people on the motorway? There's always like some tramp waving you down with a prostitute's head going... Going to York, you know, stay here.
So your car history then, any better, or...?
Started with an Escort. Then I had 2 Ford Orions.
Oh, Christ.
So my car now is a new shaped Honda Civic, based on your review.
You mean the review on this programme?
The review on this show.
What, you bought a car on the strength of what James May said?
He's got long hair and he's from Bristol, you can't go wrong.
It's true. I suppose, but is insurance an issue then with you guys?
It's for you.
It is for me.
What for you?
But I lied for... Oh, no, can you say I lied for ages?
If you're not lying now, I think we can get away
Oh,
with
I'm
it.
not lying now, yeah. I was a school teacher who never left the house for, like, a few years. But then when I got on the telly, I thought, I better, because it is a bit, and I thought if I ever run anyone over and they realise it was me, I'd probably have to reverse and kill them.
You had Jamie Oliver in your car the other day. No, you were in Jamie Oliver's car, you see.
Yeah, we were. He took us off-road, and before we got in the car, he gave us a bin liner each to put on. And he said, you'll need those.
What was he going to do to you, for God's sake?
Well, then that was the start, and then he gave us both, like, a massive cream pie and a big jugs of water. He said, buckle up, we're going for a ride.
Hold on, I'm sorry, wait, Jamie Oliver invites you down to his house, is this?
Yeah.
And then makes you go in his Land Rover in a bin liner with a cream pie?
Yes.
And this isn't for television?
And a gimp mask.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
He's been eating too many weeds, that's the trouble.
And we go all over, didn't we? Up and down, and whoever had the most pie and thing and water in the thing won. So we're like this. I'm glassed you, haven't I, in the face. I'm wearing most of the cake as a brooch.
Yeah. I got my cream pie all in his lap.
Yeah. Nice. It turns out my dinner parties are all wrong. Now, your show was the Friday night project, is now the Sunday night project. Yeah. So you're paid to host this show, and then you get someone else to come and host the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really works.
See, it's annoying, that, for me. We have to pay Richard and James, who just bugger off at this point and smoke outside. Well, not James doesn't smoke, because his mother doesn't know, obviously. But... Now, no, because the other one as well is you spend a long time with the guest hosts on your show.
Yeah.
Are they a nightmare?
Stephen Seagal, you know, it was a bit hard, weren't he? Because the first thing he said when he came in, are you two
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Fornicating.
enchanté, Mr. Big Al, you're so witty.
No, you see, that was all bleeps. What you said was fornicating. Or you said, that's what you did, because they were all gone now.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
He
it's
said
all right.
yes, just to mess with his mind. Yes, we are, actually.
Yes, we are. Would you like to see?
Imagine the children.
Now, your laps. Obviously, this is an unusual thing, because we've got two people rather than one, so it isn't just a question of who do you think you've beaten here.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Alan.
Alan?
You go first.
No, Alan.
Unfortunately, I don't know why I asked you that, because you'll go in whichever order they are in the machine.
Oh, right.
So we're starting with, I've no idea who it's going to be, and it is... Who's that?
Who is it?
Who could it be? It's
Crystal Flyer.
It's you! More successful this time than you were in the warm-up laps. Let's have a look. Coming up to the first corner now, cutting it and stabilises the...
That's it.
God, that was close. Chicago, go off again this time. This is a wild drive.
I know, a wild man.
My Delilah.
Right, here we are, the hammerhead. It's the tricky one. Now, we've now got a stopwatch down here as you cross this line there. You were at 1 minute 5 seconds.
I saw the flickering light.
This is quite... I'm impressed by this.
Really?
Yeah, no,
She
not that, I'm not impressed by
my
that.
woman. Leave me up and went out of my mind.
And into the second to last corner. And coming up now, it's Gambon next. There it is, wide. You've gone wide there. It's gone, but you don't cross the line.
Slow. It's slow. I haven't been down one. I haven't been down one. It's slow.
You did it. 1 minute 51.8. So you go and give him a round of applause, everyone, because he's done it faster than Helen Mirren. You beat Helen Mirren. You are officially a faster driver than Helen Mirren.
That's probably as close to Helen Mirren as I'm ever going to get. I love Helen Mirren.
Enjoy it. You could be there a while.
Thank you.
Now, shall we have a look at your lap?
Yeah.
Ready, everybody? Play the tape. Oh dear, it's gone wrong already. And we're off. Having said,
Oh, no, stop.
now this is looking slow is the word I'm looking for, I think.
I thought it was quite fast.
That's tidy. Now, what this is tidy.
Stig's going to be so proud of me for that one.
You were listening to the Stig. You definitely were listening to the Stig, weren't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
You see, the slower you go...
Because he told me, he said, go up to fourth gear for the fast bit. And it was a revelation.
There we go, this is fourth gear.
Fourth, you see.
Fourth, still fourth. That's quick.
Yeah, well, he told me fourth gear.
It's amazing.
That is quick. Now we've got the second to last corner.
God, I look like Ollie from On the Bus. No, she did that sidecar.
Here we go, and he's across the line. He's made it.
That was quick.
Definitely quicker. That's sub 150, definitely. That was quick.
Ready? What was yours? 151.8.
0.8.
You were 151.2. You are the quickest. Everybody. Round of applause. Are you feeling humiliated now?
Yes, I was beaten by a much better man.
I was listening to a bit of Smooth FM, that's what's filling me out.
But it was, you had a really smooth style, bang on the lines.
Oh, yes.
Really smooth. Look slow is faster.
Look slow is faster. What a lovely thing. I'll put that on my gravestone.
Yeah.
He looked slow, but he drove fast.
Listen, guys, it's been absolute joy having you here, ladies and
thank
gentlemen.
you.
JLC and Anchor! Thank you so much.
You know those police crash action stop kill emergency programs? They're always full of brilliant stuff like this.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Then the announcer comes on and he goes, "We got a clip from England land," and you die of shame because you know what's coming next. Here we go. Yeah, it's a fat Bobby in an Astra, and he's driven onto someone's lawn to get away from a teenager who's throwing pebbles at him. Now, the problem is that the British police daren't crash their cars because they haven't got enough money to fix them up again.
Yeah, but that gave us an idea. Why spend £9,000 on a brand new Astra diesel? buy used cars. Then when you crash them, just get another.
Yeah, so the producers gave each of us £1,000, OK? Told us to buy something which we thought would work as a police car. Then we were told to go to the Top Gear Technology Centre where we'd be given a number of challenges. I was the first to arrive. OK, what I've got here is a Fiat Coupe. Paid £900 for it, so the police could buy... getting on for 10 of these for the cost of one Astra. And this is the 20-valve, 5-cylinder turbo version, so it does 152 miles an hour. And of course, if it were ever to appear on one of those police crash accident programmes, it would make our officers look rakish. Sadly, the same couldn't be said of James's car. Masonry opens doors, James. Here, look, let me show you.
Morning.
Well, then, next to join the police, you have to be in the Masons, and therefore you've got a Mason's car. Therefore, I'm doing the secret handshake.
Morning.
It's a Lexus, James.
It is, yes.
And you paid?
£900.
But you could have had one of these. I paid £900 for that. Much better. OK, the police has a recruitment problem.
Yes.
So you've got an advert saying wanted policemen to spend all day driving around in very boring Lexus, or policemen wanted to drive 20-valve turbocharged R-registered Fiat Coupe.
To the garage.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Not yet.
Our argument was then brought to a shuddering halt.
But it is!
It's like... Officer Barbie has arrived.
Yeah. Well, they all run around in Range Rovers.
This is police, not a
Yes.
hairdressing
No,
salon.
you see police in Range Rovers all the time. This is a budget, but I think pretty nifty alternative. It is a 1994 Suzuki Vitara 1.6 JLX SE.
How's this going to look when you pull up outside someone's house to tell them that their husband's just been killed in an industrial accident?
James and Richard then set about my Don Johnson mobile.
So you're going to climb into the cab of the AA recovery vehicle and say, follow that.
You're nicked. And have you got a fan belt for an old Fiat? Because it's back there.
But I retaliated by demonstrating a special feature. You open the boot,
Yeah, done that.
you see
Yeah.
an armed siege, OK?
Yeah.
I'm pinned down in the car by Robert De Niro. I need to get at my M16. I just come through here without getting out of the car.
It really was time for a challenge. We don't yet know what we've got to do.
Well, if it's go to Brighton and pose undercover in gay clubs, you're right there already.
Yeah.
We've got a challenge here, boys.
Don't let it have the word Brighton in it.
Now that you have your cars, you must each use your skill and ingenuity to turn them into the perfect modern police car for no more than £500. You must meet up at the track for a series of tests to find out which one is best.
A few days and several pots of paint later, we were ready, and I was the first to arrive. Morning all. Here's what I've done. Classic British police livery, classic stripes, the inverted plant pot blue light, as you'd expect, and a mission statement for the modern age. Catching crims and locking them up in your community. Oh, good God, the Carabinieri have arrived.
Feast upon my magnificence.
Hang on, stand aside. What's that?
Vodicea conquered the entire Roman army using something very similar to this, so I should be able to easily conquer 4 hoodies in a stolen Datsun.
What happens if you just pull up next to the pavement and there are some women and children walking along?
They'll have their legs cut off. In jail, no one can hear you scream. Scary. Bodicea wheel attachments. Scary. You presumably have nothing.
Wrong. These 4 nozzles
Yeah.
are paint guns.
Yeah.
So you drive in front of the crims who are trying to get away. These fire a great cloud of pink paint all over the windscreen and they have to stop because they can't see. All you're going to do with this is generate headlines. Police chop more people's feet off.
All you're going to do with this is respray the front of people's cars. James then demonstrated his siren, which he'd got from an ice cream van. They're going to be really impressed with that on an American police video.
No, they stop for an ice cream and then they're nicked.
May I? Mine was much more high-tech. Oh, wait, no, that's the cow. Things were not going well. And then they got worse.
Oh, God in heaven.
The pet cop boys are here.
Yeah.
No, wait, the police.
Yeah, well, the police are coming. The police. The police are here.
Da-da-da-da.
No, you saw me coming, didn't you, straight away? One of the biggest problems the police face, trying to get somebody out of the way with blues and twos on. I've got a lot of blues and twos. They will see me coming.
Well, we've got to ask, OK?
Yeah.
You notice that?
Yeah, this is...
It's genius. It's a stinger. OK, you get the word over your radio that you might need to stop a baddie. Rather than pulling out and blocking with your car, which is frankly dangerous, you just stop very quickly and then...
It was unmistakably a doormat with some nails in it. So we moved on.
A police car has to be fast. To see how quick your cars are, the Stig will now drive one timed lap in the standard British police issue Vauxhall Astra diesel. All you have to do is beat his time in your cars. Bonus points will be awarded for flamboyant driving style, which will look good on a police kill action programme.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Flamboyant and fast. Only one person can win this.
3, 2, 1. He's proceeding in a westerly direction.
Honestly, giving the British police cars like that to save money is the same as the Queen saying, well, changing the guard, they can all wear primer. Here comes the British Army, they're wearing beach towels because that saves money. How would the Blues Brothers have looked? And there he is. How long?
1 minute
48.
48.
1:48 is quicker than most of our celebrities drive around here.
is, it
In the
is,
Lassetti.
yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, is it?
Then it was our turn, and the gentle touch went first.
3, 2, 1, go. Well, that began.
I pulled away.
Sadly, James's idea of flamboyant driving isn't quite the same as everyone else's.
That'll look excellent.
I wonder if it's got traction control.
Oh, I don't think it's necessary. Tyre screw from the 1970s. Left. I hope you like prison food, Crims. Looking good. Cock.
Bit of task wheel. Maybe there'll be a bit more here.
I'll make it out of the way.
Can I help you, sir? Well, that's not bad.
It's 2 minutes. 0.03.
It is pretty.
2 minutes, James.
I was next to give it a bash in my Fiat.
But before I do, I want to make it look good, so I've brought this.
Right, you're on your own.
You see, you go for the soft focus. See, now, when I set off,
Right.
swooping J-turn, soft focus.
You're just going for extra points for flamboyance, yeah?
Oh, damn and blast!
Oh, that's good.
Well, a lot of
And
points
stall.
there.
Are we in soft focus as well?
I fear the motor steer wheel attachments have affected the wheel balance. Somewhat.
It wasn't an option on the original car.
No, go to see a spikes.
You didn't hear people driving around and say, I've got a Fiat Coupe, it's great, but I just wish the rear wheels were a bit heavier and out of balance.
Gonna look good, okay? They're gonna cut in for a shot of the driver.
You hear a lot of noise, but not a lot of movement. It's very much like Jeremy, that car. Oh, he's overcooked it hideously there. I'm suggesting getting back.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm thinking further, with those
Spikes.
things on the side, further still.
And then a flourish to the finish. And flash the lights. What about that?
What did I do it in?
2 minutes dead.
2 minutes and 8 seconds.
What, slower than yours?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, look, without
Guess
the
what?
J-turn,
You chose to do the J-turn. We didn't make
Can't
it.
go up to a villain as a police officer. I didn't mean that. Just you come back and wait.
Can you just come back another 100
Yeah.
yards while I do
Do
the
you mind?
J-turn again?
What?
except I won.
Well, you just didn't.
And finally, from the streets of San Francisco.
One, go! Yeah.
It's got four-wheel drive, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I lose the drama of the start, but at least it means I can... I'm not in four-wheel drive anymore.
Painfully slow.
How can I do flamboyant driving in this? I need points.
Oh, no, he's broken the thing off. Look, he's broken his tongue.
I've deployed my stinger there.
Is he still on the...
Hello, that'll help me.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
That looked good in slow motion.
You never thought to do that.
I didn't.
Past the gratuitous boxes.
That was to make it look good.
Should we step back? Because who knows, handling-wise, what might happen there.
It's packing up.
It's got to be points off for that.
Yeah, that's not flamboyant.
There's an electrical problem.
3 minutes 14. Have you seen the front of your car?
Yeah, but
you see, you get points for flamboyance. Remember, we're making... This is... Think of the spectacle I've just given.
Right, I'm going to give you a big push and off.
Go.
Now.
Yeah.
What is it? Ambitious, but rubbish.
For our next challenge, we were told to hot-foot it to the scene of an accident. As you can see, the road has been blocked with a crash. This here, you see?
Yeah.
Normally, it would take the authorities 6 hours to get the road open again.
Yeah.
You will now demonstrate that it's possible to be much quicker than that.
Well, it is. We don't have to wrap them all in tinfoil blankets. We don't have to offer them counselling. We don't have to fill in health and safety forms until a week on Tuesday. We can just clear this in no time.
Well, this is our chance to prove it. If you haven't got the job done in 2 minutes, motorists who've been held up will be allowed to pelt you with food.
Good idea.
With the clock ticking, Richard and I decided to take care of the cars, while Jeremy took care of the wounded. We were working well as a team.
I'm towing that car!
Sort of.
I've got a live one here.
And as a result, we had most of the wreckage and the bigger body parts cleared in good time.
The road is clear.
While we'd been busy at the crash scene, the real police had turned up. They wanted to demonstrate the official procedure for stopping a stolen car.
The operator will dispatch a police vehicle.
The Hotel Papa 91, Lima 375, Tango Papa Tango, a BMW colour silver, lost stolen report received.
Throughout this, the pursuing vehicle will be given a commentary to all the vehicles that are engaged in this stop.
The vehicle is failing to stop, failing to stop.
The vehicles will be given the instructions to move off by the pursuing vehicle.
It does seem like quite a fact.
It is a palaver, to be honest.
Very involved.
You know they have to fulfil 13 separate health and safety criteria before they can do this.
Well, he could be abroad by then.
Once the criteria is fulfilled, they will attempt to stop the vehicle.
Near side, near side.
And under the instruction of the ground commander, they will get the vehicle into position where they can surround it, box it, and stop it.
Well, you just wind the window down, draw alongside, and blow his head off. Or ram him off the road.
Keep it rolling, keep it rolling.
Yeah, but the point is the police won't ram him off the road because their police cars are valuable. They're about 30 grand each.
Straighten up and stop, stop, stop.
Well, this is where our idea comes in.
And for once, the challenge was just what we'd hoped for.
You will now demonstrate to the police how your cheap cars can be used to stop a stolen car without using £125,000 worth of Volvo, the RAF, and 16 health and safety forms. And just to make your task that little bit harder, the BMW will be driven by Ronnie Stiggs.
Oh, I know.
Keen to try out his paint gadget, Inspector Morose went first.
There goes a member of criminal classes.
So we're now watching James in a hot pursuit situation.
Yeah. How long have you got before you have to go home tonight?
What was he
He's actually going to get the police shuffle.
I'm shuffling the wheel in accordance with the police roadcraft driving manual.
Hang on. James's plan is to deploy his paint.
Yes.
Now that relies entirely upon him being in front
Absolutely.
of anybody else.
Luckily, I had a plan. Right, watch this.
I know what he's doing. He's going to wait for him to come round again and then pick him up.
I can see the miscreant approaching in my rearview mirror.
But this sitting around waiting for the baddie to come round again.
It could work on the M25, perhaps. He's pounced.
He's pounced.
Is he?
Now is he deploying?
I don't know.
Oh, I see!
What a windscreen!
Works!
That is brilliant.
I'm amazed!
Sadly, there was one invention James hadn't considered.
Well, he's just put his wipers on!
So, would Hammond have any success?
So a 1.6 litre Salon.
Come on, come on, come on! Give chase!
No, look, that's pathetic.
I'm a police officer. I shall never give up.
Ah, you see.
Now, thanks to four-wheel drive, I could intercept the Stig and deploy my Stinger.
This is £900 plus a bit of doormat with some nails in it. Here we go.
He missed it!
Oh no, he's driven round it.
The Stinger needs to be longer.
Now, all hope of succeeding in this challenge rested with Commodore Clarksonio.
Right, now, in Jeremy's mind, this is already a magnificent spectacle.
What I like to do is play music loud.
Scares the hell out of him. It's Robert Duvall now!
wait! I'm going to try something the Americans call pitting. I put my car along his rear wing, push his back end out, he counter steers, I then brake, and of course, it shoots the other way.
Unfortunately, none of what I just said happened.
So there's nothing for it. I'm going to deploy a boat of Sears.
I don't think he'll take Stings alive.
Any second now. Oh, that's uncomfortable.
I presume at some point there's going to be a simply hideous accident.
Yep.
Come on! Yeah! Take that!
I think it could be time to admit failure.
See?
That could have been,
Something's gone wrong with the handling.
You failed to apprehend the miscreant.
We are rubbish.
We are not very good. We're not doing as well as we thought we were. The scores. Right, the score. So here we go. First of all, costs. You got a point for every pound you were under 1,000. So James, that's 100 for you. Jeremy, 100. 250. Because
Was your car 750 quid?
Yes, it was. Then the speed. You get a point for every second you were faster than the Stig, or lose one for every one you were slower. James, that's minus 12 for you, minus 20, Jeremy, minus 72 for me.
Rightly so.
Then flamboyance. How flamboyant you drove. I've got the judges' results here. James, they said you weren't flamboyant, you got nothing. Sorry. No points at all. Then Jeremy, neither were you. None. Sorry.
I did a J-turn!
You put Vaseline on the lens, we couldn't see it before.
That's rubbish.
Then I got a point for driving through the boxes. So
Your tongue fell off.
A bit. I made it.
This is ridiculous.
Finally, the decider. Arresting the Stig. OK. James, you got nothing for that.
What?
So that gives you...
Well, you didn't get him.
88. I got nothing. So that gives me 179.
You've been building up tension here, haven't you? Because I'm on what am I? 90. So if I get 100 from a boat of Sears, I've won.
Yeah.
Did I?
No, funnily enough. You got 98, which means you get 170.
I'm sorry. No, hang on. No. Show me where it says I conveniently ended up with 1 point less than you.
No.
You've eaten it.
Yes, I have.
Well, since I am not prepared to go through your stools in the morning to look at the evidence, we have to conclude that the best car for the British police is a Suzuki Vitara with a doormat on the front.
Yes.
And on that blatant lie, it's time to end. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next week. Or, if you're watching this on Dave, we'll see you in a minute.
No.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Kinky boots for men, and an interesting proposition from a drag queen. Comedy drama next here on BBC Two. And on BBC Three, Rusty finally gets a girlfriend. Life's an education in the US comedy Greek.